Hello folks, welcome back to our channel, and today I'm going to be reviewing another episode of Medium, and today I'm going to be reviewing the 8th episode of the 4th season called Burn Baby Burn Part 2. The episode was directed by Vincent Misiano and written by Renee Echeverria and Javier Grello Morsiewicz, and the episode originally aired on March 17th, 2008. So basically, this episode is a sequel to the previous one. As I mentioned before, this episode is basically part of a two-part episode, and this is basically the second part of the first part of this episode that started in the previous one. And basically, in this episode, it's like a sequel to whatever happened right before. So basically, the last scene of the previous episode is going to be like the first scene of this episode, more or less. It's like, it's not exactly the scene, but it's like the thing that happens right after is basically going to be there, right? And so basically, I'd say you should watch these episodes back to back in order to basically being able to enjoy the episode fully in its like the full episode, right, in its fullness. And so yeah, this is basically how this episode goes. So what happens in this episode? Let's get into it without further ado. Basically, in this episode, Allison is still trying to find the connection between all of her dreams, the case she's working on, the arson case, in which is with which she's working with. Dang it, I keep messing up, don't I? I can't even speak. So basically, yeah, let me try that again. So basically, she's trying to find the connection between the arson case she's working on with Scanlon and Davalos. Basically, Cynthia Keener and the case she's working with, the case she's working in with her, and she's working at with her, and basically she's also struggling with a secret that she was told by Marjorie, her mother-in-law, and basically she doesn't want her to tell Joe, but she's struggling with that since Joe and Allison don't have any secrets, and that's a very healthy marriage, that you shouldn't keep secrets from your spouse. That's a very good thing. But yeah, so basically she's struggling with it. And so yeah, this is basically how this episode goes, right? It's basically pretty much the same plot as the last episode, since it's one and the same, really. It's, like I said, a whole episode in its entirety. But yeah, this episode was pretty good in basically tying everything together, tying everything up. And I really enjoyed everything in this episode. Like, everything falls into place. Like I said, there's a connection between a lot of things, right, that started in the previous episode. So basically, Allison's arson case, the arson case, Cynthia Keener and her case, and basically Ariel's classmate's mother. Basically, something happened to her. I won't tell you what it is, but it's basically it ties up to this to the main plot as well. So yeah, this is very much a pleasant watch. I really enjoyed this episode, and we're gonna get to the characters in a second. The actors, I'm pretty sure these are the same ones as the last ones. Maybe there are a few more, but yeah, this is basically how it goes. So in this episode, we have the main characters, and then of course we have Angelica Houston, who plays Cynthia Keener, Kathy Baker, who plays Marjorie. Then we have Paul Fitzgerald, who plays Graham Stacy, the very cooperative accused guy. Then we have Grant Shout as Dr. Leo Crane. Then we have John Prosky as Tom Van Dyke, Tina D. Joseph as Linda Novi, Gretchen Egolf as Mary Stacy, Bruce Gray as Joe's dad, John Cothran as Judge Brock, Natalia Barron as Sally Greer, and finally Brett Laurier as Owen Stacy, and Miranda Kirby, Lois Marie. So this is basically how it goes. I'm not sure if there's anything I could have mentioned. Yeah, there's that funny kind of thing going on between Allison, her former boss, and Lee Davalos. Lee and Allison are in some mad kind of situation. They can see eye to eye on pretty much the case because Lee has a very strong case against this guy, but this guy, Graham, is being very cooperative. He's so cooperative. I keep saying it. I don't know why it sounds right. He's so cooperative. He can be guilty, or so we think, but we won't know until we watch the whole episode now, do we? Now, will we? We won't know it until we do, will we? So, this episode was pretty great, pretty awesome. I really enjoyed it. As good as the previous one, really. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode, really. I really would recommend you to give it a watch. And basically, in this episode, everything is going to come into place. Everything is going to fall into place. Everything is going to tie up together in such a smooth, efficient way. So beautiful. Really enjoyed it. So, what else could I say, really? Not much. But basically, at the end, Marjorie is going to leave the house because she has to go. Obviously, she doesn't want to overstay her welcome. And I didn't mention that, but Joe needed money from her too. But she took advantage of that. The fact that he needed money just to see Allison and tell her about her secret. And she would like Allison to dream a little dream of her. Yeah, I don't want to spoil it too much. But at the end, she's going to leave the house. And there's that very sweet moment between the two of them, right? The chemistry is so great right there. And there's that moment, right? That moment between the two of them. It's so sweet and cute and heartwarming. Really loved it so much. Kathy Baker's an awesome actress. Really loved her in the show. It's really awesome to have her being part of the show. Same thing with Bruce Gray, Joe's dad. Joe's dad and mom rock. Really, they're awesome in the show. But yeah, this is basically it for this episode. And basically, Ariel is also involved because one of her classmates is obviously is going through some tragedy of his own. And this tragedy that he's going through is related to all that. And I'll let you find out for yourselves, just in case you haven't watched the episode, what it is exactly. But yeah, I think I'm just going to wrap this up. There was a fun scene too with at the dentist's office. I'll let you find out for yourselves what it is. There are a few funny quotes here and there, with Davalos being like, "I'm not the psychic here," something like that. Am I a psychic? It's so funny, so much fun in this episode, and having all these characters working together, it's so awesome, really. I loved it so much. And yeah, so Van Dyke, I didn't say a lot about him, but basically, Van Dyke is the new district attorney after Davalos got fired, basically. And in this episode, he's really dislikable, mainly because he has such a strong case against Graham. And basically, Lee's working under him, right? He's working for him, and he doesn't want to lose his job. But at the same time, Manny's his old friend, so he doesn't really know. Like, he can't play on both sides of the fence, can he? He can't really play on both sides of the fence, but he'd like to help his old friend. And, but yeah, this is basically how it goes. And there's a court scene near the end in which all the answers are going to be answered. All the answers, my goodness. All the questions we had are going to be answered finally. But yeah, this is basically it for this episode. Really enjoyed it. And yeah, that court scene near the end was pretty awesome as well. So if I were to rate this episode on a scale from 1 to 10, I would give it another 8 out of 10. Really enjoyed this episode. Really loved it. Actually, I don't even know if 8 would do it justice. Maybe 8.5 out of 10. Let's say 8.5 out of 10 because everything falls into place. So 8 out of 10 for this. 8.5 out of 10. Let me say it 3 times just to make sure that you got it right. 8.5 out of 10 for this episode. 8.5 out of 10 for this episode. 8.5 out of 10 for this episode. I said it 3 times. What about you, folks? What do you think about this episode? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comment section down below. We'd really love to hear about your thoughts and views on this episode. In the meantime, folks, stay safe. Goodbye. Take care. And I'll see you in the next review for another episode review, God willing. Goodbye. Take care. This whole channel for you signing off.